I dull. Not I dull, but I sometimes slip into a state of idle madness, where my hands aren't the culprit, but they are enslaved by the concave of my mind's curious violence. Like, what would happen if I threw a house into the stratosphere and made it think it was a bacteria in a favorable environment? Would it cling to the atmosphere like a spore, drifting into the breath of the cosmos, or shatter mid-air, scattering shards of white picket fences and unfulfilled dreams? What if I plucked the concept of weight from existence, peeled it back like the skin of a fruit, left everything to drift, tables, lungs, bones, clocks, all suspended in a world that no longer cared for gravity's leash? What if I rewired time, forced it through a centrifuge until past and future became an inseparable slurry, and I could reach into the mixture, pull out a memory before it was born, fold it into an origami bird, then let it loose to peck at my present? What if I spoke in wavelengths instead of words, oscillated between frequencies that only machinery could understand, until my voice was no longer my own, but the hum of something vast and unfeeling, a chorus of circuits babbling in binary prayers? What if I extracted the concept of self, peeled it like an electron from its orbit, watched as my identity collapsed into a neutrino, massless, untethered, slipping through the fabric of existence without disturbing it? What if I laced my breath with antimatter, exhaled destruction in microscopic doses, unraveling reality one sigh at a time? Would I notice when the edges of things frayed? When chairs, faces, and streetlights began to blur into probabilities rather than certainties? What if I reached into the deep marrow of language, twisted verbs until they grew roots, forced adjectives to combust, turned every noun into a black hole that swallowed the meaning of itself? And what if my hands, so enslaved to the curvature of my mind's lunacy, broke free, not to grasp, not to create, but to scrape, to unmake, to rewind, to pull apart the scaffolding of the world until it was nothing more than raw possibility waiting for something, someone, to shape it again? But what if the only equation worth solving was the one scrawled in the dark behind my eyelids? What if all this chaos, all this unraveling was just the delirium of a body overclocked, a mind chewing on itself like a snake mistaking its tail for an answer? Maybe the universe doesn't need dismantling. Maybe I just need a nap.